Hey now, cats, we're back again this week, and with me is, as you know, a returning guest, one of my favorite people in the world, the man, the myth, the legend, one of the most hardest working people in show business. You know him from his stint in the Toasters, you know him from the Pilfers, rocking the house, you know him from probably just about making cameo appearances on any band you like. I know him as the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Coolie Ranx. How you doing today, sir?
Mike, what's up, Mike? I'm doing well, man. Just had a nice dinner and a glass of wine, so I'm a little sleepy too. So wake me up.
Well, you can't. That sounds like a great night to me, man. But fresh off an incredible performance, sir, at the 2022 the Steel City Ska Fest. I have to say, you completely rocked the house, sir. One of my favorite standout performances of the night. You did incredible job, sir. I wanted to say, did you have a good time at the Ska Fest?
I did, man. It was great. You know, I've always wanted to play. You know, I kept hearing about the Ska Festival in Pittsburgh, and I was like, why didn't they get me on there, man? You know, I felt left out, and I put it in your ear. It was many years ago. I put it in your ear, and
You remember that? I
of
remember.
course.
I've been wanting you. I mean, I've been wanting you here for years, man, and finally come to fruition. And I tell you what, you didn't disappoint. Do you have a favorite memory of the night? What stood out to you as like your favorite?
Oh my goodness. I seen all these little clips and everything was just outstanding. You know, I see clips online of someone's cell phone that took a song or took a moment, and it's pretty. There's some humorous parts, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm crazy. Sometimes I get on the stage and it just comes out that way. I'm not actually crazy. I'm not wild like that, but on the stage, I transform into my child self and have so much fun.
You actually brought me to my next question, sir. I am just completely amazed with the type of energy that you bring to your performance in the stage. Where do you get this energy from? I mean, does it just come naturally when it's time?
Yeah, I'm serious. Like especially if there's an audience, you know, the challenge is like, as I asked the audience, how many people have seen us before? And none of them had seen us before. I mean, there was a few that used to come and see us in the Smiling Moose and some in Graffiti Club and what's the other place? Graffiti Club and Club Lager, you know. And so it was like, you know, there's a few that still stuck around and still are with us. So, but the majority of the people there, they didn't know us. So that brings forth the challenge. So I know what I have to do when they don't know us. I got to bring it. I got to bring it in a way.
I'm actually a ska kid from Club Laga and Graffiti and the Moose. My buddy Scarfa owns the Moose. He's a great dude. I just had his band on long ago. You bring back so many good memories, and you name these old clubs. And
yeah, because
you've performed so many times for so many people. Is there ever a time where you still get nervous?
I'm nervous every time, Mike.
Every time?
Every time I'm scared.
No way you ever come off from these there. You look up the dictionary and I see a picture of you. Like I just can't believe it.
No. It goes away once I get on the stage and I have to do what I have to do. But believe me, beforehand, I'm fine when I'm, you know, selling the merch and everything. But when it approaches getting onto the stage, that's when the nerves kick in. But you know, I just deal with it as I said. You know, once I'm on the stage, I'm comfortable. But it's the moments, the minutes leading up to it. It's like nerve-wracking. I want to just get on the stage and let it happen. And you also, as an artist, you want your stage to be set right, correct? So if anything doesn't sound right, it's off key. It throws you off balance. So that
I noticed everybody was very particular about sounding perfect, and I tell you what, it paid off because what a night, man. I want to ask you though, do you think the ska scene has changed at all from back in the day as to now?
Oh, absolutely. There's a higher energy right now. It seems as if we're going back in time. It's like we're going back in time, and there's more ska appreciation. And I want to thank the young guys, the young bands that are actually pushing it as well. You know, there's a group of young bands that are pushing it, and there's still like older bands that are still pushing it with their audience. But what has to happen, what needs to happen in order for this thing to continue is those bands, the young bands and the older bands, they need to merge. They need to do more shows together, and that grows the scene. It's not happening in the way that I'd like to see it, but that's what needs to happen to sustain this industry that we're in, that we're a part of. If you know, you got the separatism clique that's happening, but if you meld these audiences together, we have arenas, we have larger shows than what we actually have. So I mean, maybe someone will get it and understand what I'm saying. Maybe they'll listen to me at this point, but I know what I see. It needs to meld, and it hasn't melded yet.
That actually leads to my next question. What is your biggest pet peeve? Would you say that what you just said about the ska scene is your biggest pet peeve?
No, that's not much. That's just something it's gonna happen naturally. Trust me, it's gonna happen naturally because it's just the way it is. You can play to an audience, but so many times. You know what I mean? You can play to the same crowd, but so many times before they lose interest. So what you have to do, as I said, you have to merge. My pet peeve, I don't even know if I have one. You know, I just, if there is one, it'll happen. If something happens and it annoys the shit out of me, I'll say it right away and it will no longer be a peeve. So I don't really carry any malice or anything like that. So no, I don't really have a pet peeve.
I have to tell you, sir, over the years, you have actually become very inspirational to me, and here's why. Whenever I see you or when I hear you talk or anything, you are always so incredibly positive, and you have such a very positive outlook on things. And I just have to ask you, how do you remain so positive in the world that's so insane right now?
There's always noise. There's always noise around in the universe and the world. It's our job as individuals to quiet that noise. Why, you know, I mean, you could succumb to your own detriment of listening to everything, you know, and taking it in and worry about it and carry it on your shoulder. It becomes a burden, you know. So I don't really carry that kind of stuff, man. It's my I have enough issues in my life, you know, with life itself to carry something else like that. I don't let it dwell in my consciousness, right? Because I want to emit energy that's gonna, you know, keep the wheels turning in my life and in the universe. So yeah, that's why you won't see that. Sorry, let me turn that light back on. Oh.
What do you enjoy doing on your time off?
Time off. Sorry, time off. There's not really. I don't really have a time off, you know, Mike. My wife would tell you that I come home and I'm working. I'm working nonstop. It's either designing something, ordering merch, writing a song, talking to people. I don't really do time off. Time off doesn't work with me. There is no time off. If you're saying what will I do for fun, then I'll have to scratch it out some moments in time with someone or somewhere, or because I work constantly. I'm always on my phone. If I'm not on my phone, I'm on my laptop, or I'm at work. I have another job too. So
that leads me to my next question. Is it hard balancing tour life and music life and personal life? Does it always feel like you're
No, you have to design your life the way you want. You have to design your life for yourself. Okay, so you have to design a life that works for you. You know, whether it be, you have a 9 to 5, and then after your 9 to 5, you do your love or your passion. I don't have a 9 to 5. I have a job, but the job carves out around my needs. So I do what I need to do, and then I do what I want to do. So no, yeah, you gotta carve life how you want it to be, or else you'll just be a slave. I'm a slave to no one, no job, no nothing. Can't do that.
I only have a couple more for you because I want.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm having a great time talking to you, sir.
Talk to me, Mike. I
want to ask you, what are some people that you would like to work with that you haven't yet? And what are some of your, you had mentioned before, there's a younger generation. Who are some of your favorite bands from, this newer ska generation?
I have a lot. I'll be honest with you, I like a lot of the newer bands. I'd like to, I put out some I'd like to work with, I'd like to work with Pauline. I like to work with Pauline. I put it out there from the selector. I wanted to work with her before, and we were going to do it, but I didn't write the track. But I'd like to work with Pauline. I'd like to work with Neville. I'd like to work with Jeremy. I'd like to work with Jeremy. I'd like to work with Tara, which I did do some work with Tara. I'd like to work with Talina from Bite Me Bambi.
Might be Bambi.
Yeah, I did a little bit of work with her. I'd like to work with Danny Radix. I'd like to work with Hepcat. I'd like to work with Bucko 9. I'd like
oh my
to work
God!
with,
If you collaborate with any of these people, I would like.
this is what I'm just saying. I would like to work with everybody. Like I'd like to work with Abracadabra. I'd like to work with Harrigan from England. I'd like to
They're
work
actually
with
Abracadabra is going to be on my show soon. I love those guys.
well, tell them what I said. And
I will surely relay the message. That would be
yeah. I'd like to work with Kill Lincoln. I'd like to work with Stop the Presses, which I'm gonna do. I like to work with a lot of Latin bands, but I haven't met them yet. I like to do some stuff in South America, a lot, and I'd like to work with some Japanese bands and some European bands. I just don't know them all. But anyone that's listening, just hit me up. Come correct. Don't come with no shabby. Tell me about your pay me. That's kind of insulting. Don't tell me how much you'll pay me. I don't care. Just make sure the music's good.
Oh my God, you're just I love you so much, Coolie. I would love to do any of those collaborations. I would lose my damn mind.
So, I mean, I would definitely, you know, I'm going to California in October. So anybody that's in California, hit me up. I got a few days. I can jump in the studio and do some stuff. Anyway, put it out there.
Incredible. Well, speaking of, I've been anticipating your new album Days Gone By for a long time.
I tell you, Mike, I want to apologize to everyone, so maybe they can hear this. I am not the greatest engineer, right? I don't have that trained ear to do things. So I asked some people to mix it, and they mixed it great to my likings. Then I got a business partner, and he listened, and he was not happy with what he heard. And then I put it to somebody that doesn't know my music, that doesn't know anything about me, and I let them hear it. And the same results was from that guy to my best friend. And they're like, I don't understand what you're saying. I said, what, you can't hear it? Of course I can hear it because I wrote it. I know exactly what I'm saying. But to the untrained ear who doesn't know what I'm saying, it wasn't in a way that everyone could hear it. So I mixed it over. So that's what's taking it so long to come out. No disrespect to anyone. I just wanted to make sure it's right. So when you do get it, it's a really good finished product.
Well, in all honesty, sir, I would rather wait until you feel that it is. I'd rather wait until that point than for you to, not be happy with it and put it out for sure. But
thank you.
Like, I have a few questions about.
I was happy with it, but when I got the feedback that they couldn't understand me, I don't want everyone else to be in that same category saying I can't understand what I'm saying. So I made it. I consciously, made this decision, and I'm almost finished. So, hold tight.
Well, yeah. I'm sure whenever it comes out, it's going to be fire as always, dude. I've been waiting for it. I wanted to talk just a little bit about it before we go.
Sure.
How did this album come to fruition? Last time you were on my show, you were starting to tell me a little bit. It was just starting to kind of come to be. How did this all come to? How did this album?
Well, we want to thank COVID, right? Because during COVID, I had time. No, seriously, so much was able to be accomplished during COVID because we weren't doing anything, and I wasn't on the road, and I didn't have to go here, and I didn't have to do this. But what I did do was I snuck into some studios with my boys, Steve Capecci and Phil Wartell, and we just laid down tracks and rhythms and boom, 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 boom. And I went to Jamaica after that. I took the tracks and I went to Jamaica. Some of the tracks I sang here in the studio, and I went down to Jamaica with the tracks. And my godfather, my mentor, Computer Paul, he's a producer in Jamaica, and he just laid down, everything that I didn't have. The keyboard sounds, the Jamaican sounds, the other sounds that I just needed to enhance the tracks. So all of that was done. Then I took it to, I sent it to California to be mixed by, and mixed to my liking by John Avila. And I still have the track and I love it and I play them all the time. So I was just working during the COVID, as well as doing the car sessions, as well as doing the Saturday night, Supernova Saturday nights. And I was still working throughout that because what else was I going to do?
Where did the inspiration come for these particular songs?
The inspiration comes through my life. This record is called Days Gone By. So it reflects on a time when I wasn't who I am now. So it actually delves into my street life, my street experiences, my experiences with love during that time, my experiences through hunger and what someone who was hungry would do. You know, these are sides of me that have been forgotten. So I just went back into time and I remembered them and I wrote it out into a song.
What would you say
wrote
is
about tragedy. I wrote about tragedy that affected me during that time. My best friend was murdered.
No.
So I wrote about songs like that, and I wrote about then and where I landed. You know, like I could have fell down and stayed there. You know, I got arrested. I wrote a song about that. I could have stayed there in jail and never amounted to anything. So, you know, it's just called Days Gone By. So everything is a reflective thing.
What would you say is the easiest and the hardest part about making this album?
I'm sorry, the easiest part and the hardest part about what?
Making this new album.
The easiest part? I think it was all easy, to be honest. Nothing wasn't really hard. Nothing wasn't hard because even if there's a challenge, right, Mike? How I see life, even if there's a challenge, you either go over it, go through it, or go around it. It's all, you know what I mean? Either way, you're gonna get to where you need to go. So there was no real hard part of it. I wouldn't say there was any hard part of it because even during the COVID, I went to Jamaica and they made you do all of these things. I still got to go to Jamaica. They quarantined me. So what? I was still in the studio. I was quarantined in the studio. I had the apartment there. That's what I do anyway. So there was no hard part, Mike.
I have one last question for you, sir, and
Sure.
I'll let you go. If
Sure.
you could go into a time machine and you could tell young Coolie some advice for when you get to be older Coolie, what would that be?
Buy more real estate. Buy more real estate, Coolie. No, seriously, I think I was okay. I've always been on a path, you know, Mike. I've always been on a path of enlightenment. So Coolie would just be Coolie, you know what I mean?
Well, I couldn't imagine a world without you, sir. So thank you so much for your time, man. Always a pleasure to talk to you. One of my favorite people in the world to talk to. I love you, man. Thanks for being a guest again. Thanks for coming back. We'll be looking forward to the new album. And where can we find that when it drops? Right, I pre-ordered mine on.
That's a good question. You can pre-order now, but I would tell everybody to wait again now. Don't gotta wait till you hear some. I mean, you've heard 3 tracks off of it so far.
Yeah, incredible, and what all them I try.
All them I try, right? So hold tight. I'm gonna drop some more. I'm gonna do some videos.
Will there eventually be a vinyl? That's because I'm a vinyl collector, and I would.
That's a good question, you know, Mike. I'm understanding vinyl is hard to get, so I probably would need to start working on that now.
Well, we'll be looking forward to it. Once we find out some more details, I will surely link them on my shows and point people in the direction. The man, the myth, the legend, one of my favorite people in the world. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you, Mike.
Blessed night, Coolie. I love you, man.
Thank you. I want to big up all of Pittsburgh who showed out and showed up at the festival. It was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Trust me, the pleasure was ours, sir. Love you, man. Peace and love. Peace and love.
All right, Mike.
As always.
Peace, man. Thank you,
man. Bye-bye.